7 long, grueling years, but we are back. This is the Simple Times Podcast, episode 17, The Return, the Second Coming. It is now July 4th, and on today's episode, we will be talking about what's been going on since Christmas of 2006, which is our last episode that we recorded. We're going to talk about a couple things that happened in between the last 7 years, such as maybe a certain, pandemic happened. We're going to talk about Andrew and my life experiences, just kind of catching everybody up. Talk about some idiocracies that the rich have for a quick second. And then, of course, we have not forgotten, just because it's been 7 years, but we have not forgotten about simple-minded tweets. And, of course, for the return of the longest-running segment, Jokes with Hefe. All today on episode 17 of the Simple Times Podcast.
All right.
Oh my God.
We are
7
back.
years, dude.
We're back, finally.
7 years.
I haven't seen you in a long time. So, we haven't podcasted in 7 years, but we've hung out a couple times in between.
Yes. Yeah.
The last time being, we took just a nice long drive in your car.
Yeah.
That was fun.
About almost a 2-hour drive.
Yeah.
And it was funny because it all, the only reason why I think we hung out that day, you were like, hey, let's just hang out. And you were like, I got to go to Target because I got to get some swim trunks because the family's going to the beach. And we were like, okay. Then after that, we're like, you hungry? We're like, yeah, we could eat. We went to Norm's. And then after that, we were like, okay, where do you want to go after this? Like, I don't know. And then we just started talking. And next thing we know, we're all the way over at the coast driving around.
Man.
And then you're like, man, it's 2 a.m. I got to get back home. And we're like, oh shit. So then we turned back around and came back and yeah. But yeah, we've hung out a few times since.
It's crazy, man.
And every time that we hang out, we always end up talking about, hey, we should bring the podcast back. We should do it again.
So how did we get to this point right here, right now? The last time we recorded, I think we were at your house. It was Christmas, right?
It was at my mom's house, yeah.
Your mom's house.
Mm-hmm. It was in Seal Beach.
And prior to that, just think about where we started. We started out in Back House Studios.
Yep.
Back in San Pedro, California. Mm-hmm. And just looking back, we started on MySpace.
Yeah.
There are people in this world right now, Generation Z.
Yeah.
They don't even know a lick about MySpace,
nope.
What that is.
Yep, exactly.
But we started there. We came back. We came hard, and we called it The Return.
Yep.
And all this time,
16 episodes later,
we're at
we took a break, and then
the second coming.
Yeah.
The second coming.
Yep.
This is the episode that's just gonna dismantle the whole world because it's so good.
Yeah, hey, you never know. Could shatter some type of fault line over here and set off the next earthquake.
Shatter history.
Rewrite history, shatter record.
Record the shattering.
That would have been a better title for the show.
Rewrite shatters.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
We'll get it right. We'll 17 episodes later, we still can't get it right. We'll get it right
one day.
Maybe by 18, who knows?
Yeah. But yeah, man, here we are. How did we get here? How did we get here right now? How did we say what went down where we're like, yeah, let's do this again?
What's funny is that every time that I would bring up, hey, we should do the podcast again, you were the one that was always like, man, that's just a lot of editing. I don't know if I have time for it. It's just really hard for me. And I think we were even talking about me doing the editing for a while.
Yes.
But I didn't have the computer. So that was where we were like, oh, well, can't do it.
The only person in this world that doesn't have a computer.
Probably, yeah. But when we first started talking about it, podcasting hasn't or didn't grow to where it is today. So there wasn't all the outlets. There wasn't all the ease in creating a podcast. So that also kind of held us back. That's why we needed the computer. I mean, now you can do it on your smartphone.
True.
You know, everybody's got a podcast now. Everybody seems to be able to do it just on a whim. But I was shocked when you called me, about a week ago?
And what did I say? I just said, you know what?
You were like, dude, I listened to the Christmas episode.
Oh yeah, let me tell you exactly how that happened. For the record, I was just, when I'm at work, and we'll get to all that because work is a big reason why we weren't doing the podcasting anymore. I normally listen to podcasts while I'm delivering the mail. Now you know what I do for a living. We'll get to that later. And one of our old episodes just popped into my feed automatically because when one ends, another one begins automatically. And then I was like, oh, Marcel and I's old podcast? I don't want to listen to this. Man, this sucks. Wait. And then it kept playing a little bit. I'm like, hold on. You know what? Maybe I do want to listen to this. And it was the Christmas special, our very last one before this one. And I was like, just listening, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I'm laughing. Like, oh, I remember that. Oh, Christmas. Podcasting.
And then it ended up being our number one episode, 617 some odd plays on SoundCloud.
I would say it was hands down our best episode. And
our longest.
Yeah.
That was almost a 2-hour episode. And usually we would only go for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. But we went 2 hours. But I think the music also kind of maybe pushed us over to two hours.
Oh, yeah. I was proud of all the Christmas songs I squeezed in there.
Yeah.
I still love it to this day.
I've actually listened to the podcast, like all the 16 episodes, a few times.
Dang.
Because when I was working nights, I had 8 hours to listen to it. So
who would have thought you were your biggest fan?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say I was the biggest fan, but I mean, every once in a while I would go back and listen, and just kind of be like, oh, okay, let's see if I can get that spark in me, and I'd get it, but then you wouldn't. But then, like I said, like you said, about a week ago you were listening to it and. Listened to the Christmas episode, and I remember when you had called me and you were like, dude, we got to get this, we got to do this again. I want to do this again now.
I guess it reminded me how fun it was, how easy it is to just grab a mic and to shoot the breeze.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
So why not?
And then plus, I mean, of course we'll get into talking about this a little later, but your kids are getting older.
Oh yeah.
So your
kids, plural.
Yeah.
That's new.
So you're gonna definitely have more time, to kind of do stuff like this. And,
yeah. Before we get to all that, let me ask you, what do you think of our new studio here?
The beach house?
I call it Beach House Studios.
Which is kind of weird because there's a picture of woods.
Yeah, I got this big old poster
canvas
banner.
Tarp kind of a thing,
and it's like a woodsy kind of thing. It used to be in a different room in the house, and then we tore it down, but I didn't want to part ways with it, so I put it up in the garage.
Yeah.
I think it gives it it covers up the nasty garage walls
or lack thereof. It just exposed eaves and beams and like a typical garage.
It's a garage, so I guess we've been exposed. Beach House Studios is my garage.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, it's a garage.
Yeah.
You got cemented floors and walls.
And everything else in here. Clothes, treadmill, bike, your drum set.
My electric drum set.
Drum set.
I used for something very special.
Yep.
And we'll talk about that later.
Yep.
So why haven't we been doing these podcasts? I mean, if these are world-renowned podcasts that we're making.
What did I read? Something like 20-something countries have listened to this podcast.
Right, you were going over the stats.
Yeah.
We've been all over the world.
Yep. All over every continent.
Our voices have been heard
they have.
Many different ethnicities and races.
Oddly enough, there's, like I said, the number 2 was Germany, which is weird.
Honking Schleim. That was my German impression. What do you think?
Stick to Spanish, dude. Like, I don't know.
Mein Kampf?
Whoa, easy, that one.
What? I just said the title of a book.
Yeah. A very, very special book, I guess you could say.
Someone told me that Mein Kampf literally translates to my story.
Is that what it translates to?
I think so.
Oh, well, whose story are you talking about there, Andrew?
My story.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Anyway. So we got a new studio.
Yeah.
We're a bit older now.
Yeah.
Dude.
7 years older.
7 years older. I'm 34.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so old. I'm at an age now where I can't remember how old I am. The last time I had to think about how old I was, I said, "Oh yeah, I'm 33." Wait, no. Huh? And then I had to do the math in my head because I completely blanked on how old I was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 34.
We were born in the late 1900s.
Oh man. How old are you now?
I am 33.
33?
Yeah, 33 and a half.
The last time we podcasted, we were...
let's see, that was 7 years ago. So if I'm 33, so I was 26.
26, I was...
You're about 26, 27. No, I had just turned 26 because if we did it in Christmas, my birthday's in November. So I had just turned 26, and that means that you were just about to turn 28, I think, because you're like 11 months. I'm
January.
You're January, yeah.
So, yeah.
So you're gonna just turn 28 when we did it.
28,
I believe so. Yeah.
and
If my math's correct, yeah.
And the roaring 20s. That's when that's like peak, like youth.
Yeah.
Like they say the brain develops fully at age 25.
I thought it was 35.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard 25.
Oh, okay.
So we're like at our smartest, and then now we're 33, 34, which seems
and we
so
feel like the
old.
dumbest in the world.
I think the last episode I was talking about how our body starts to decay. And like, I don't know.
You know, like every Christmas story happens.
Yeah. And man, I can't believe that we met in high school. We're both teenagers.
Yeah.
And here we are. Nearly, how long have we been out of high school now?
15 years.
15 years?
Yeah. 2007.
Man.
So this year would actually be 16. 16 years.
And we're still rolling strong.
Yep.
Amazing. So yeah, a lot has happened. I got a couple more kids. I think the last time we podcasted, I had one son, I think. He was born in December.
You had one on the way, yeah.
I can't remember. He was born, oh, you know what? No, he was like 2 years old. And then I had another on the way. So that puts me at,
okay.
I think so. That puts me at 2 kids back then, more or less. 1.5. If the baby's still in the womb, it's not fully a baby, or not fully a child. Or is it? We'll leave that for another day. But now I'm at 3.
Yeah.
So now
You've got your 3 amigos.
I got my 3 amigos. My son, who looks like a good blend of my wife and I. My daughter, who's a mini-me. And then the littlest one, who you just saw a little while ago.
Yeah.
Who, you know, she's a little shy, but she probably just doesn't know who you are.
Yeah. Well, but like I said, last I saw her, well, it was that night that we went out, but I remember Clark, because that was Brielle.
Oh yeah.
Clark had like a big meltdown because she did not want you to leave.
She has a big meltdown every 5 minutes.
Oh really? Oh okay.
That's just who she is.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't know what to do.
Well, I mean, like you said, that's your mini-me, so clearly you have meltdowns too, I guess, if you're trying to...
Okay. All right. Well, Marcella, why don't you tell our listeners how many kids you're up to now?
I proudly have 0.
There was some joke I heard. It said something about some guy who invented 0. And then they were like, thanks for nothing. Anyway, how does it feel to be childless?
Awesome.
In the year 2023.
Awesome. Amazing. Stupendous.
Are you rich? Because
no.
Me with 3 kids, I am poor.
Yeah, no.
all my paycheck goes to kids, and whatever's left over to not me.
Mm-hmm. Mine goes all to me. No, I'm not rich, but I do tend. But I mean, I have fun. You know, I have fun with mine. I have fun with my paychecks.
Yeah. Well, so, kids. I mean, it's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. My wife and I are still going strong.
Yeah.
You know, ups and downs, just like any relationship. How's your relationship going, Marcelo?
What relationship?
What?
Yeah.
You're single?
Oh, yeah.
You hear that, ladies? You hear that, ladies?
No, see, obviously not much has changed in the last 7 years, so.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, no, it's kind of funny to have the older generations try to like dictate, like, you know, when you should be married, when you should have kids. Because I remember when I was at the retirement home, a lot of them there would tell me, oh, when I was 18, I already had 2 kids and I was already married and this and that. And I'm like, wow. And they're like, oh yeah, we started young. And, you know, so knowing somebody in their 20s that wasn't married, had no kids, was just like mind boggling to them. They just could not, you know, wrap their heads around it. And
yeah, I have a theory about that. I think back in the day, and this is just a me theory, and you know, I like having my own opinions and stuff. Back in the day, I think there wasn't much to do.
There wasn't.
Where like the most spontaneous or exciting thing to do is to get married, start a family.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I mean, look, you got social media, you got
plenty of distractions.
Plenty. TV, I mean, entertainment galore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I could see why people are putting off, you know, relationships and all that kind of stuff. Like, I just want to have fun and you know, I don't know. Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know.
I mean,
I think it's just an observation of
mine. It's just all, you know, I think it's situational. You know, it's definitely situational. I mean, you got people that are, you know, well into their 40s that haven't been married and haven't had kids, but you know, they're happy. Versus you got people that are maybe 18 and that's what they wanted. They wanted to get married. You know, they want to have kids at an early age. So this way, when the kids are at that age of like vacations and sports and stuff, they have the energy and the parents are young enough to, you know, keep up with the kids. Yeah. You know, because like when you hear things of like, well, Robert De Niro or Al Pacino.
Yeah.
They're like 70s and 80s and they're expecting a kid.
That's crazy.
By the time the kid hits their 15 they're probably going to be dead. Yeah. I mean, you're talking, because I think...
imagine being that kid and they're like, yeah, my father was a good man.
Yeah.
But
right?
I only know him in movies.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, no, I mean that's what's going to happen. Is, you know, they're only going to know him from, you know, The Godfather, from Raging Bull, from, you know, God, I can't even think of the other movies that he'd been in. But like, yeah, I mean, and then what? Their wives are like 20s, 30s, you know. And I mean, I get it. They're going to try to say, oh, it's all about love, but I think when you have that big of an age gap, where it's 60-year age gap, that's money. That's gonna just be money.
I'm gonna say the lady loves his money.
Yep.
And he
loves the lady. Loves the youth.
Loves the youth.
Yeah.
Man.
But yeah, I mean, hey, there could be love like that out there, but when it comes to Hollywood, it's kind of a very, very different look to it. You know.
What do you think about aging? Because I've noticed some gray hairs on my face and head. Man, it's happening.
Yep. It's been happening for a couple of years.
My wife's looked at me and said, you have some wrinkles near your eyes now. And I was like, no, I don't.
Well, you got 3 kids. What the fuck?
I got 3 kids and I work a job.
You're out in the sun a lot.
Yeah.
So that's also, I mean, that's why people tell me that I look younger than I am, because I worked nights for a total of like 15 years, believe it or not, before I finally got out of it.
That makes sense. You know, they say the sun ages you, and what I do, I'm in the sun all day.
Yep.
So,
and even now that I'm not working nights anymore, I'm just in a factory, so I'm not even out in the sun then.
Lucky.
You know, for 10 years. 10 years. For 10 hours a day.
Must be nice.
Sometimes.
So I look 38, and you still look 20.
No, actually, people have told me, you look like you're 25, 28. But it's also because I also keep my head. I don't want to say shave my head because I don't think I really shave it, but I buzz it very, very close.
Right.
And I'm thinning. I'm thinning up here on the front. Could be stress. Could be I did wear a lot of hats. As a kid and all that stuff.
You wore a lot of hats. That means you had a lot of different jobs, right?
No.
Oh.
No, not that kind of hat. I mean, like baseball hats and stuff like that. But and if I actually grew my hair out, you would see, I wouldn't say patches of gray, but you could definitely see like the sprinkling of gray, and you'll see like it glistening. Because when I did grow out, one of the last times when I grew out my hair, it wasn't like long. It was probably about as long as yours. I'd say about an inch or two. You could definitely see the gray really poking through. The beard. Yeah, I had the beard up until about a year ago. So, and then there were some pretty aggressive white patches in that. So, but when I have hair, I look my age, if not older. But when I keep clean shaven, people say I look younger than I am.
Yeah. So, on your Instagram profile, you have the beard going.
Yeah,
you look older there. And then when I saw you walk through my doors today, and you just had the stubble, I was like, "Who's this young guy walking into my house?
Who's this little baby?
Blends in with my kids." But yeah, I can't believe a lot has happened.
Yeah,
we went through the craziest thing.
Yep.
That I'm still wrapping my head around.
Yeah.
COVID-19.
Yep. The pandemic of 2020.
I remember it till this day.
Oh, yeah.
January was here, and then you were like faintly hearing stories like, oh, something's breaking out in China.
Well, what's weird is, so at that time, my mom and my sister were still working in urgent cares. Mm-hmm. And they were talking for October, November, and December before anybody even said anything about some outbreak in China. They were saying, "Oh yeah, there's this cold that's going around that nobody's able to shake. Everybody's just kind of seemed to be getting like this really deep like respiratory illness."
Right, and I remember thinking back, like, yeah, I remember I got some type of sickness.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah,
like before it started making headline news.
Yeah,
and it finally went away.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, I was like, once the COVID-19 thing dropped,
and you felt different after too. You felt like really weak, and it was like, oh man, like what's going on? Like, that was a really, really, really rough one.
And then I was thinking, did I already get it?
Yeah, and a lot of people
before the big wave.
And a lot of people were, once the antibody test came out and all that stuff, they went and got tested, and they found that they had antibodies in their system. Mm-hmm. I think the antibody tests were only good for like at the time like 3 months or something like that. So it was 3 months prior. But a lot of people that think that they had it were saying, "Oh yeah, back in October, November, somewhere around there, was when I got this really bad flu and really bad cold." And I think that it happened back in 2019, but the overall media wave just didn't come around till about
March.
February or March? Yeah, somewhere around there.
March is when it all shut down because I planned a trip with my wife to San Diego.
Oh, okay.
Not to go to Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
Although hindsight probably would have been the best thing is to go to San Diego Jack in the Box
to see one with the fireplace again.
Yeah, and to see if that couple's still there macking it. But I booked a really nice hotel, fancy looking thing, modern, and we get there. And they're like, yeah, so there's this pandemic thing kind of going on, and we're not letting people use the pools, or we're not doing room service. If you want to cancel your hotel room, we'll give you your money back. And in my head, I was like, no, this is like the first trip I've gone out with my wife with no kids. Like, we're doing this. And it was the weirdest vacation because everything was shut down. We had to do like takeout for everything or DoorDash, and yeah, man, can you believe it only took 2 weeks to stop the spread?
Wrong. No, but it's crazy to go back and think like, man, they just said 2 weeks and we'll have it all taken care of, not realizing that some people out there are idiots.
Yeah.
So, and it lasted a lot longer than it went from. I mean, technically, if you actually look at like how it was almost 2 years.
Yeah.
I
we're
mean,
in 2023 now, and they finally making like a statement saying, yeah, we're no longer in a pandemic now.
Yeah, something about that. Like about 2 months ago, they said, like, the World Health Organization said, "Oh yeah, it's not a global crisis anymore, but it's it's still out there. It's
Still
just
lingering.
Yeah,
Still people wearing the face mask.
yeah."
So what kind of person were you? Were you the got to wear a face mask everywhere I go, or
Everywhere, no. If I was outside, I was one of the people that, as long as I wasn't, I mean, I was always kind of a loner anyways, so I never was really around like big groups. Usually I would kind of ask first, like, hey, like, or I would kind of feel out how people that I would be around, if they like the masks or not. But I had no problem with them. I mean, prior to the pandemic, when I was working at the retirement home, we had to wear masks anyways every year. During flu season, they had always asked us to wear masks on the second floor where the non-ambulatory residents were. So I was able to breathe with it fine. I never was one of those that complained, oh my God, I can't breathe. Oh, it just restricts my airflow. Oh, whatever kind of BS stuff. I mean, I get it if you had like, chronic lung disease or something like that. But if you were a, fine, perfect in health, kind of person, I mean, I don't see, it's not like you were breathing through the respirators that I use now. It was like just a piece of cloth on your face that anybody, like, if you ever put your t-shirt over your nose, that was basically what the masks were,
Right.
So
I remember year one, I was like, okay, we didn't know anything about this. It's kind of freaky. Like,
yeah.
We're going to die. We didn't know. We were just, the news is telling us people are dying left and right.
Yeah.
So for the first year, avid mask wearer. I'm like, all right, I got to do this right.
Right.
And then the second year, we got more data and we're like, kind of tired of this mask thing. Like, the vaccines are out, the booster, like, we should be fine now. They're saying that they're good. So after that, I really didn't care about wearing masks, but if like a establishment required masks, of course I would wear it.
Yeah.
Remember lugging those things around? Man, I remember wearing the same mask, like, without washing them.
Yeah.
Stick it in my pocket, take it out when I need to. It was the nastiest looking brown mask that started off as white.
I don't think mine ever got that bad, but
well, aren't you so special and better than me?
I mean, I don't mean to brag, but
all right.
Well, now here's the question I have for you.
Oh, ask away.
Were you one of the ones that wore masks with the ear loops? Or were you the neck gaiter kind of wearer?
I started off neck gaiter.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because, you could easily, pull it down or pull it up.
Right.
And
it was a lot looser, so like you were able to like, be a little more comfortable while it still being like pretty closed off.
Yeah, and you can get cool designs so you can express yourself.
Exactly. You can be so fashionable.
I know. Man, those are weird times.
Yeah, yeah.
Weird times.
I mean, it was the first one in 100 years. So
crazy.
But yeah, I mean, for me, when it came to the masks, the beginning of the pandemic, I wouldn't say I hated them, but I was like, I'm not around anybody. I took care of Louie, so it was just me and Louie. So we would be up in the house, and we were always keeping our distances anyways from people because we didn't really like to talk to many of the neighbors over there. So we would, we were always by ourselves. We would, go out for walks and come back up, and that would be it. So if I went to the store, of course I would wear the mask, but usually it was like whatever I had in my car. If I had a neck gaiter in the car, I'd put that on. If I had the surgical mask, I'd put that on. If I had the cloth mask, I'd put one of those on. But it wasn't until I got to Smart and Final when I had to wear the masks.
Well, Marcel, something else that I would like you to wear?
Okay.
Is your pants.
God damn it. I can't just wear them whenever you want. All right.
I don't know why you just slowly started slipping them off right now.
Because it's hot in here, all right? It's summertime. It is 4th of July.
So can you slip them back up, please? I want to be able to look at.
You know, you're lucky that you got kids in the house, so I've got to do it for them. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for the kids, okay? Because clearly, like how Brielle came in earlier, she can't sleep without you. She was worried about you, so...
It's just weird seeing your joggers next to you.
I know, but I mean, like I said, I got to air them out.
Fine.
Been a long day. Had kickboxing.
Yeah.
Went running around looking for a little electronic part that we ended up not needing, so...
Oh, man.
But fine. God, give me a second.
There we go. That's better.
So picky.
I just like being comfortable when I podcast.
So do I.
Jeez. So, yeah, lots happened. We've been going down memory lane. Let me just recap real quick. So, yeah, I got a new job.
Yep.
I'm a mailman.
Yeah.
And, nothing too exciting. I mean, the first year really sucked.
I remember you
telling me. If there's anybody listening out there that has an interest, I'm just going to say it right now. It's a tough job. It's a dirty job, and it's very physically demanding.
I remember when I needed a job, I was thinking about applying at the Postal Service, and you were adamant, don't do it. Don't. You find something else. Like, you were, so against it.
Because this is why it was bad. Let me explain. I'll make it quick. One, you have no life. When I started, you basically were working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, working Sundays, delivering Amazon packages, and you were just tired all the time and just dealing with the post office's crap was just so annoying every day. But after, being there about 5 years, finally became a regular. And now things are better. I have my set schedule. I set routes. And I get my Sundays off and another day during the week off, which contributes to why we can start doing this again.
Right. Yeah. And you're still in the same area as far as delivering, right? Because remember before you were right on the beach.
Yeah. So I had a steady route for 3.5 years, which was right there on Esplanade, and I had my customers. And not gonna lie, it was nice serving the same people every day, seeing the same faces every day, and you get to know them. They get to know you. They give you gifts. They give you gift cards and stuff. It was really nice. But now, now that I'm regular, yes, I miss some of those people. But my routes are easier now because that one route I had was tough.
Yeah, a lot of those buildings were almost 100 units, I think.
They weren't. No, not that.
Were they not
big.
that big?
They were maybe.
They look like it.
It was a lot of big 40 unit buildings.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of mail to deliver and a lot of packages.
Because I know that there's one building there that I had thought was 2, not realizing that it was 1. With a walkway in the middle or something like that. I can't remember which street it's on. I know it's on Esplanade, but I don't know which avenue it corners. But when I first paid attention and saw, oh damn, that is just one property.
Oh yeah, the one you're thinking of is probably the 1310/1302 building, which the whole block is taken up by a
might be that
building.
One. Yeah,
and crazy during the pandemic. These people nonstop ordering stuff because nobody was going to stores.
You couldn't do anything else. Yeah,
so everyone was online shopping.
Yeah,
and another reason why it was such a tough 2 years.
Yeah,
for me. But working as a mailman, it's cool. I'm out in the sun. I'm walking all day, so it's kind of built-in exercise. Although, since I turned regular, I think I got a little chunky right here. I started eating too much. But yeah, I'm a mailman. And I already talked about my kids.
Yeah.
They're kids.
One of them graduated kindergarten? Or first grade? Or Your oldest, Desmond. What did he?
Desmond finished first grade this year,
Okay.
going into second. My middle child is going to kindergarten,
Okay.
and then the third one's going to continue, quote unquote, homeschool.
Homeschool. Yeah.
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 So that's cool. Kids are kids, man.
Yeah.
We'll save that for another episode. Kids, man.
It'll be a very one-sided episode, but yeah, we can say for one-sided.
Hey, you were a kid once.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. What about your job?
Well, let's see. Last I was here, last we had the podcast. I was working at the retirement home, which I know I've talked about a lot already.
The nunnery?
Yeah, basically, yeah, that's what a lot of people call. But they actually, they kind of left, half and half, kind of left. Within the company bylaws, you have to have a certain number of nuns living and operating each facility. In the U.S., because of how people are, again, now I won't say against religion, but moving away from it, especially like through like a Catholic church and all that stuff, just seeing, how strict and how stupid a lot of the rules can be for like being a nun. Cause like, if like, I know you grew up Christian, but from what I hear, Catholics are way more strict when it came to their like, beliefs and such.
I think so. They hold their traditions very dearly.
Yeah. Cause like if I remember, like with Christianity, it's like you can commit a sin, but as long as you like ask for forgiveness, it's kind of given. Like
Yes.
Kind of like well, I know there's more to it, but like in a nutshell, that's kind of basically how it is.
In a nutshell, yes. In the Catholic faith, it's more of you got to do a tradition.
Yeah, it's almost like once it's almost like once you committed it, that's it. You've committed it. Yeah. You've got to go through like was it like that
confessional booth or something?
Well, yeah. There's that too.
Prayer beads.
Yeah, prayer beads. Or like if you really want to go extreme, there were those people that like used to go crawling on their hands and knees up cobblestone pathways to a church. Just to repent for certain things, and they go insane. So,
well, you should see what I do. I give myself 40 lashes. if I like,
I thought your eyelashes look longer. What colors are you going for now? Who's your lady? Because I mean, I have some recommendations from some of the girls that I've worked with. If you ever need, more lashes and them done properly, because it's weird seeing you with eyelashes attached to your eyebrows, and one's bigger than the other. So I mean, it just kind of.
I paid good money for these lashes.
Did you really?
Yes, $100 a pop.
Well, I mean, popping could be a thing, but. Yeah, you may have paid $100, but
I pop, lock, and drop it with these eyebrows.
Why? Because they fall off that easy, or what? You got to pop, lock, and drop to pick them up and put them back on. Wait, was that your eyelashes that I saw at the store the other day on the floor out in the parking lot? Is that how I know when you're around?
All right. This is getting too personal. Can we stop talking about my lashes?
So going back to the original
40
thing.
of them.
So, and he's only got 2 eyes. I don't know how that happens. It's a year supply.
All right, man. So you got fired.
I did not.
Oh, okay.
We didn't have enough. We didn't have enough nuns.
Short supply of nuns.
The whole U.S. was having a short supply, and they were trying to bring in nuns from outside of the country, but there's still, regardless of how you look.
Pandemic. The nuns were being held on the shipping containers, and they were just floating out to sea.
They had to call.
They have nowhere to dock these nuns.
They had to call on the flying nun just to try to get him out. But no. This was before the pandemic. They were trying to get nuns from out of the country, but regardless of how you feel about the immigration laws, it's still a hard thing to do to get your green card and everything. So they were trying to go through like the religious way of, well, it's work visas and all that kind of stuff. And because there were a couple of Vietnamese nuns that were there that were really cool, that were learning to become a nun, that were trying to go to school for it. But they were like so close into it, they were still walking around the habits and such.
Do you think when they were
oh no.
When they were in Vietnam, were they like, "Good morning, Vietnam"? I tried so hard to keep it straight.
Yeah, it took you so long to try to get that out.
I have this weird thing where in my head I have like the joke to end all jokes, and because it's so funny, I can't like keep it together, and it comes out in a little burst of laughter comes out before I reach the punchline, because I know how funny it is to me. Anyway,
yeah,
sorry.
No, it's all right. So yeah, because they're global, so all the locations outside of the U.S. are flourished with nuns, so they're flourishing.
So, are you saying that there wasn't enough nuns for
us to keep open?
For you guys to keep open?
Yeah.
So you guys had to shut down, basically?
So they were going to shut down, and they because they were going to lose like their religious status. So the whole tax exempt religious status kind of thing. So, but from what I heard, they found someone that was going to buy that location, but they were in an agreement to use the name, to keep the residents, but I guess what ended up happening was they got rid of all the staff and brought in their own people. That's what I heard. I don't know how true that is.
So how does that affect you, though?
Because they got security. So I was a security guard, but I was what they call in-house security. Basically meaning I don't really have any power outside of the doors. So whereas like, a security guard, like let's say at the mall, can basically control like the parking lots, I wouldn't like not like walk down the street and tell you what to do, but we'll have like a presence. We'll have like, an authority, like a legal standing. Gotcha. Of, hey, I'm guarding this area. I didn't have that. For me, it was basically like I was like, I kind of joke around saying that I was a nighttime receptionist, because most of the time I would just end up just answering the phones. I'd go on an occasional round and stuff like that. But from what I heard, with the new owners, they didn't want that, because because when you have in-house, you're quote unquote, it's a high liability, because if I'm outside, let's say walking on the side, like how I had to go up to one of our buildings, and something were to happen and I don't have my guard card and I interact, that quote unquote suspect over whatever he's doing can sue that company and say, well, that wasn't a proper guard. He doesn't have proper, guard card. He's not really supposed to be here. And it could be a big thing, So they went out and they got themselves an actual guard company to come in and do it. So, but I was like, hey, whatever, cool,
And then, so what did you end up doing?
I was unemployed for a while.
Collecting that free Monday.
It was nice.
I'm pretty sure on a different episode you mentioned that you were on unemployment, and then I said collecting that free Monday.
Probably, yeah. I wouldn't doubt it.
So anyway, you were collecting that free Monday.
I was.
So how was that?
It was nice. I went from working to going to mom's house to take care of the dog.
If you were like, oh yeah, I went from making $50,000 a year to making $200,000 a year.
But no. So I was unemployed for a while, for maybe about a good 7 months, and I don't want to sound lazy, but it was nice. It was nice not having to. It just is like basically it was like a 7 month vacation, because even like if you have when you work for a company, they give you vacation time, you're not getting the full pay.
Right.
So it was it was basically like that.
Hey, vacation.
Then unemployment ran out.
Most good things.
Yeah, and all the extensions I exhausted and everything. Unfortunately for me, the unemployment ran out before the pandemic, before they were doing all those mandatory extensions for everybody. So I didn't qualify.
So like a sucker,
basically.
That's when you landed at an intelligent place, an intelligent and terminal place? Intelligent and terminal?
I don't think so.
No?
Because after that, I applied and got over at UPS.
Oh, you were at UPS.
For about 2 weeks on the night crew,
So
doing the load crew.
You were like, I want to be close.
Package handler is actually what they called it.
Oh, yeah. I vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
You were probably like, man, if Andrew can deliver packages, I think I can handle packages too.
Yeah, basically.
So anyway, that didn't work out for you.
Yeah. Well,
but then fast track, that's where you ended up in an intelligent terminal.
Even before what you're getting to, I had Smart and Final. I was at Smart and Final for almost 2 years.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Oh, really?
Intelligent and terminal.
Oh, okay. Smart and Final. Okay. Because I thought you were talking about my current job, saying terminal at like an airport. Like a terminal at an airport.
Oh, an airport terminal.
Yeah.
I was talking like terminal cancer.
Yeah, that sounds so much better. But yeah, and I was there and started out just
stocking shelves.
No, actually, I wasn't doing that first. I was actually just doing cart runs. I was doing a lot of like the BS kind of work, you know. Actually, wait, I was load crew for about a month or so. I was doing load crew for the freezer at one point at night, just because they were having big loads during the pandemic.
Sounds cool.
It was during the pandemic,
no
so
pun intended.
Yeah, right. It was freezing, and after that, they were like, "Okay, you know, we'll start using you in the daytime." You know, so I was like, "All right, cool." You know,
like daytime.
Yeah, basically.
Sun.
Yeah, I mean, I went from working, you know, nights to all of a sudden now working in the daytime, and
then you were running the carts.
Yeah, I was doing that.
Question: when you were doing that, did you ever get pissed off when people would not use the designated
all the time
cart? What do you call it?
Corrals.
Corral, but they would just leave it at the car stop.
The one
or the bush. Or
well, the stuff that would piss me off the most was and I actually saw this happen. I don't know how many times. Somebody would pull up to a parking stall, and there would be a shopping cart in the middle of the parking stall. Now, instead of maybe moving that off to the side, parking, and then using that shopping cart, they would take it, put it on its, like pick it up and like move it to like a planter.
Oh, I've seen those.
Leave it in the planter, park, and then still walk over to the store and get a shopping cart.
And then do the shopping, come back,
and then leave that right where right in their parking stall. Yeah. So
now instead of one shopping cart in the planner, you have two.
Yep.
In the planner.
But yeah, all the time. And then
I think the solution is to get rid of planters.
Get rid of
shopping carts.
That too. Yeah.
Imagine a world with no shopping carts. One less job.
Be more for you. Imagine you having to deliver all those even more packages.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, I was there. Then I worked daytime freezer, but I was also register, and then eventually I just got trained to do the whole store. I would work a little bit in the deli, work a little bit our deli wasn't really deli. It was like it was like dairy basically, like where like the milk and eggs were. That was really like most of it, like the sliced meats.
So you worked with cows and chickens.
Yeah, basically. And actually, you joke, but in the meat department, we actually had rotisserie chickens. Oh. So I was actually in there seasoning, chickens and put them in the oven and all that stuff. It took me one screw up, and they never had me do it again. So,
man, hey, I have a joke.
Okay,
why did the chicken cross the road?
To get to Smart and Final?
Yes. It was a suicidal chicken.
Oh, no, you want a better one?
Wait.
No,
is this a joke?
It is, but it is a bonus for being absent for 7 years. It is not part of the segment.
Okay. I like bonuses.
Why did the chicken attend the seance?
Ooh. A seance?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
To get to the other side.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
7 years working on that one, huh?
Tubular, dude.
Yeah.
Tubular.
Out of this world. So,
Literally
yeah.
out of this world.
So, but luckily from knowing everything in the store,
you got promoted.
no, they put me back to nights, and they needed help, and so I just started working nights, and again it was still during the pandemic, so nights were rough. Nights were really, really rough. There were just so many things that people were buying and stockpiling, especially like the canned foods and all that stuff. Remember toilet paper? The toilet paper shortage and all that?
The toilet paper shortage.
We had to guard that, and we had to leave that in the back. That was like a serious
real thing.
Yeah.
I was delivering a bunch of toilet paper.
Yeah.
I think Amazon came out with their own brand called Presto.
Okay.
It got really big, and I was delivering all these boxes that said Presto on. It was like Amazon's
like
paper towel line.
Like their Amazon Basics and all that stuff. Yeah, I gotcha.
Tons of boxes. Yeah. And the sucky part is, they take up all your space in your mail truck. So you're like,
they're so light, but they're bulky.
Yeah, I was annoying.
But then from working at nights, because nobody else wanted to be there, that's when I got my promotion.
Oh yeah.
So I went from just being a regular, part timer to a, what do they call it? They called it a
full timer.
No, person in charge.
Person in charge.
That's what they called it. It was a person in charge.
So you're the Grand Poobah.
Yeah, you would think. But they only called that because they couldn't call us. I was a night crew lead, but overall it was called person in charge. Like if I ran the night crew and then morning came and let's say the guy in the meat department didn't show up, he was running late. Well, they could get me because I was a person in charge with keys, and they could throw me into meat, be in charge of meat until that guy comes.
So as long as you have the keys to unlock the world, you can do it all.
Basically, the world is at your fingertips.
Mira, basically
what?
Basically.
Then it was pretty cool for a while. Had a lot of freedoms and all that stuff, but I started to feel my body was just kind of giving up.
Right.
The work wasn't.
And you wanted to go to higher places.
I wanted to get to higher grounds. Yeah.
You wanted to get off the ground, actually.
Yeah, basically. But I felt like my body was kind of getting tired of the nights. That was really what it was. It was the shift. The work was nice. The work, it was actually a workout. Basically.
Yeah, basically.
And it was cool. The crew that I work with, Hugo, I still talk to him. In fact, I saw
Chavez?
him. Yeah, Hugo Chavez. Yeah. No. But I saw him the other night, and he's still there. And I went back there one night and just kind of hung out with the guys for a little bit, caught up a little bit, and I did miss him. We joked around a lot. It was pretty. When you work nights, you kind of get like in like a little tight knit family.
Oh yeah.
It's
all about the jokes.
Basically. I know we're saying it a lot. Basically.
Basically. No, for real though.
Yeah.
When I started at the post office, I'll never forget the person that trained me said, "Listen, man, this job's tough.
Yeah.
And if you can't joke around here, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
So just have a laugh.
Oh, yeah.
And you got to laugh at stuff here or else it's just going to bring you down." And I always remembered that. And it's true. I think just having a laugh, laughing at the chaos or the stupidity of things, like it'll help you get over that.
Oh yeah,
that hump of like, I'm so tired, I don't want to do this or whatever. But if you just laugh or make a joke about something, you're like, okay, life's not that bad, and still having a good time.
And the other cool thing about nights is, cool thing if you can stand it. If not, it's gonna be difficult for you because you have to have thick skin. Because when you're at night and it's twilight hours and you're tired. And, especially like, if you see the guy working next to you starting to slow down, you've got to find ways to like really, perk him up. and sometimes doing dark humor and, you know, insulting. I guess you like it would be like insulting them, but like, you know, poking fun at them. You know, having like that close bond is kind of what helps them. And I had a few guys that were like that. You know, James was one that taught me really kind of from the beginning, and we would kind of play on the race card. You know, he's 6'5" black guy. And here I am, 5'8" white guy, or half white, half Hispanic, and we would, you know, joke around about that, but we would laugh about it. We still laugh about it to this day. Like, I remember this was kind of messed up, but his brother had died. His brother had died in a car accident down in Alabama.
Sound funny
I know.
All.
Well, just wait.
I'm waiting. And this better be good.
So his way of showing respect and honor to his brother was that he would wear like this what they call a balaclava, but it's like a ski mask kind of looking thing, right? And I guess that was just his way of like mourning for his brother. When a 6 foot tall black man puts on a ski mask and he goes walking down the aisles moving product around, I walked up to him and said, "Are we being robbed?" And he was like, "Man, you can't let me just mourn my brother the way I want to." And but I mean, we would laugh and we would poke fun at each other like that. You know,
pretty funny.
You know, and
this guy,
it's like
over here crying his eyes out, my brother. And here you are. Hey, man, please don't kill me. The money's in the safe.
And,
I'll open it for you.
So, but like that's the kind of humor that you would have at night. I mean, you'd need to have that.
You need to have some, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and he was cool. Like I said, we call him, we joke around about it. I'd be like, you know, hey, remember that one time when he wore a ski mask in the store? And he's like, man, shut up. But yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, the people that I work with were really cool. It was just the hours. The hours were really, really bad. My body couldn't stand, you know, waking up at, you know, 11 o'clock at night to be there at the shift at midnight, then get off. You know, well, before I left, there were problems with the warehouses, so sometimes the loads weren't getting there. The loads would have to be there by 4 o'clock the previous day. So basically, the 4 p.m. before our midnight shift is when the loads would have to be there by. But for whatever reason, there were warehouses weren't getting there until almost 5 a.m., 6 a.m. the next day. So we would have, instead of, you know, working the load for the night and going home at 8, we would, you know, clean up the store for those first 5-6 hours, and then the load would get there, and then we'd have to get to work. So sometimes we wouldn't leave till 10, 11, you know. We would be compensated, you know, the manager would then, you know, of course, be open to give us overtime. You know, he always approved it for overtime. He always basically told us, if you're going to work at, you know, if you're going to improve the store in any way, work your overtime. You know, you got it. But if you're just going to stand around and not do anything, then no, of course. He would be like, no, go ahead and go home, come back, you know, we'll see you next shift. But he would also buy us breakfast.
Dang.
If it was something that was out of our control, if it wasn't like, you know, hey, we're just being lazy, he would buy us breakfast just to kind of say, hey, thank you guys for staying here. You guys didn't even have to.
What was the breakfast?
At the time, it was a Broiler Express.
Dang.
And I introduced him to Broiler Express because I bought breakfast for the night crew, for like Christmas or some holiday, because they would have parties. And the downside to working night crew is if the day shift has a party, like let's say a Christmas party, or not even a Christmas party, but like let's just say like 4th of July, like today. Let's say, you know, they would have like a barbecue, or somebody would bring in like a potluck, or they would order out. Night crew wouldn't get any of that food because it would all be done by the night crew and the evening crew. And by the time night crew would get there, it'd be all this stuff that either leftovers or condiments or whatever. So I felt bad. And after working years and years of night shift and seeing that constantly every year, every holiday, every occasion of night crew getting left behind, I just decided, you know what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to spend my money, and I'm going to get my guys appreciated, you know?
Wow.
But I'm only going to get it from my guys. Day shift guys, they got their own party. They don't want to save anything for us. I'm not going to save anything for them.
Yeah.
So I would get them, breakfast burritos. And I would say better than Harbor Light. Remember Harbor Lights?
Oh, Harbor Light, our old when we were security
when you
guards.
and I were both security guards. Yeah,
and there was this little liquor store slash.
No, it was a restaurant.
It was a restaurant.
Yeah, it was a legit restaurant.
There, and they had
it
the
is
best
actually
breakfast burritos after working graveyard shift.
Yeah.
You go over there.
It was a hot meal.
Yeah,
that's basically what it was. It was a good hot meal, but
the good old days.
Yeah, but yeah. So I just after working nights for so long, my body just couldn't take it anymore.
And you're like, I can't do this.
Yeah, and I mean, I apologized to Hugo because Hugo was my co-lead. He was the lead before it was about 6 months before I got my keys when he was brought in as the night lead, and then when I got my keys, they just made us co-leads, and it worked great. I'm a workaholic, so I'll work whatever shift, and he had kids, so he would need a 5-day, like a regular work week, 5 days on, 2 days off, kind of a thing.
Right.
And it worked fine. It worked out.
So you told him the bad news.
I was like, I told him, I said, dude, I said, my body's not letting me more. I was, I've always been a person that's been late. I hate to admit it. I hate being late, but it's just kind of, I'm always a late person. But it went from being like maybe like a couple minutes late to like, almost like a half hour late, just because it was grueling, just having to push my body to try to do that, and day in, day out, it was getting tough. So I had to tell him, like, hey, I'm looking for a new job. I apologize, but I've got to do this. I don't think I can do this very much longer without hurting myself, or doing something, or my body giving out on me. And ironically, once I felt that's when our guy that worked in the back was like, hey, this company called Robinson's hiring. If you want to go over there, they're hiring everybody right now. They're getting all kinds of people. Right. And I was like, well, what do they do? He goes, they build helicopters from the ground up. And I'm like, no way? Like, where? I'm thinking to myself, I got to drive out to like, middle of nowhere, to a factory out there, because I'm like, there's no factories out here. You think of a factory like big smokestacks and stuff like that. He's like, no, it's over at Torrance Airport. And I'm like, what? And then I go and I drive by to turn my application. I'm like, I've driven past this many, many times, because Airport Drive is like my cut through when PCH is backed up. Take Airport Drive, and it's it's an easier route.
Right.
And I used to drive by it, but I never knew what it was.
Right.
And I had an idea of that it was a good place to work, but I never knew what they did inside. Huge facility.
Yeah.
But
fun fact: when I was a kid in 5th grade, we had an essay writing contest, and I wrote an essay. And
about an essay?
Essay. Enough with the jokes, essay. I'm gonna cut you so bad. You're gonna wish I didn't cut you so bad.
All right. So basically, you had to write an essay.
Yeah, there's some bad roaches in here. And it turns out I won, and the prize was to take a trip on a helicopter at Robinson.
Okay, yeah.
And so I got into one of those tiny little dragonfly-looking helicopters.
Yeah, they are a little odd,
with no doors or anything.
Really? Okay.
And went up, and we saw the whole city of Torrance, and I still remember how it felt being up there. It was crazy. Everything was so small, so high up.
So you said 5th grade. Now there's just kind of the Robinson nerd in me. So that wouldn't have been the R66, because that didn't come out until 2007, 2010, somewhere around there. So was it? Do you remember it being a 2-seater, or was it a 4-seater?
I want to say, I think there was 3 people in that chopper.
Okay.
It was the pilot. Someone sat in the middle, and someone sat on the end. It was like me and another student. So we were, 5th grade, like 10 years old.
Were there 2 rows of seats or 1 row?
I think just 1 row.
Just 1 row. Okay, so that might have been the R22, which is the first one. It was the first one built. So that's that's.
And it was fun.
50 years now. So, but
and now you're working there.
Now I'm working there. Yeah, I left Smart and Final, and they were. Manny, the store manager, had told me, he was like, he goes, as good as you are at this store, as good of a manager as you are, taking care of your guys, you're reliable and all that. He goes,
you're fired.
Yeah, right. No, he goes, I could tell that you're built for more. He goes, I tell that this just wasn't, the job for you. But, I mean, and he was cool. He was cool with it. He wasn't one of those managers where he was like, oh my God, now you're going to put me in a bad spot. Oh my God, why would you, how could you, what can I do? He was like, hey, he goes, you know what? Good for you, man. He goes, yeah, leave here. Do something bigger. You're meant for something else. And, I've been at, and that was a year and a half ago, actually.
Wow.
My last day was February 18th, I think, 2022. So,
wow. You've been there a while now.
I've been there a year and a half.
Year and a half.
Yeah.
Like the job?
February 28th was actually my first day of orientation. March 1st, I was on the floor for the first day.
All right.
So, yeah, I mean, I've actually gotten a little mini promotion in the year and a half that I've been there. I went from, so when I went in there, I was quote unquote a prepper. So basically I was sanding down.
Basically,
I was sanding down all the parts that were getting ready to go to paint. So I work in the paint department. But I guess on top of that, you also learn how to buff and polish. So I take care of.
You get buff like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then
I do.
Say,
yeah, I'll get to the chopper.
And that's how you got hired.
So, but I take care of the ship, and well, at the time, I took care of the ship.
I'll be back.
I took care of the ship before and after it got painted, and I'm
back.
You're so stupid. And I would I'd buff it once it came out of painting. I would take care of all the imperfections, basically.
Cool.
And from that, I kind of quote unquote got promoted. It was like a sideways promotion, I guess you can call it. Like, you're not going above anybody. You're just kind of moving to like a different area, a better spot. I'm still doing the same. I'm still buffing. I'm still taking care of like the imperfections after paint. But instead of it being on the ship, I'm more specialized to the blades. So I work just on the helicopter blades. And I went from working with a crew of about anywhere from 6 to 10, depending on the hiring, and all that stuff, to basically, well, really, I'm the only blade polisher.
That's cool.
I'm the only full-time blade polisher.
It's really cool to know that you have a very specialized job.
Yeah.
In crafting these big machinery.
Yeah. That is also another
aircraft. It's just crazy.
And it's also
it's really cool.
One thing that blew my mind was we are the number one. So company-wise, we are the number one manufacturer and distributor of civil helicopters in the world.
That's really cool.
Basically, meaning we don't have any contracts with anybody.
Nice.
So if like, let's say the U.S. government, the Army, Navy, whoever wanted to buy our helicopters, we are in no obligation to provide them with a certain number of helicopters, much like how like Boeing, Northrop, Bell, I think, supply them with it.
Right.
We don't do that. They want 30 helicopters from us. They're going to pay 30 for 30 helicopters.
Nice.
They might give them a discount, military discount, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. But you're going to be paying close to $28 to $30 million.
Dang.
So
that's crazy.
But yeah, so we are known all around the world. The R-44 is the number one selling civil helicopter in the world. We just celebrated 30 years of the R-44. We have the R-66, which I think is hitting a milestone soon, but I'm not really sure what milestone it is. Might be like the 2000th or 3000th helicopter. But the company itself is 50 years old now. Started out in basically in a kitchen, or no, a garage. Frank Robinson, not the baseball player, founded it and started building parts and putting basically ships together in his garage, and went from that to a small building, probably about maybe double the size of the garage, to an even bigger building, to then having a legit factory. and then having 3 add-ons built to that factory to make it as big as it is today. And the other cool thing about being in Blades, I know I'm talking a lot about the work, but some days I am proud. You know, I get to kind of leave, and it's cool since I live in the area. I could literally just look up and I could see like my helicopters, you know, the Blades that I worked on flying around. Test pilots either going out for it or customers coming picking up, or even customer service that bought Blades or bought a ship before us, bringing it back to have it fixed, or hey, there's a paint chip, or maybe they just want it just overhauled, just kind of freshen up and everything. Working on stuff like that. So
you really sold me.
Yeah, right.
Where do I sign up? Can I get an application? Like,
yeah, but
a whole history and a tour.
You got $1 million cash on you? I can get you a discount. It'd be about $999,999. I mean, but it's still a discount, dude. Trust me.
I love a good discount.
It's a good deal.
I guess I'll have to sell some of my kids.
Well, you got 3 of them, so that could be about $3 million right there. You can afford 3. Check that out.
All right. Now it's tempting.
Yeah, right.
So you're really good at building things that go up.
Yep.
Why don't you take your skills and build something that goes down?
Let's see. Maybe because
how about you got to track with me here.
Okay.
I think with all the knowledge that you have right now, apply that to something that's never been done before. Deep sea exploration.
It's been done.
Huh?
It's been done.
It has?
Yes.
I mean,
a few times.
I mean, wouldn't you want to go down and, like, I don't know, see wreckage of stuff that's happened? Like,
you mean the kind of wreckage that I could see on like a certain movie?
Movie,
and like the first maybe 20-30 minutes of a movie with a director named James Cameron that took a certain craft down. And
Avatar.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Avatar.
Yeah, Avatar. So, I mean,
Last Airbender.
But no, I am not an obnoxious billionaire that decided, hey, I want to see a ship underwater that's lower than I've ever been. So let me go down there and spend $250,000 when he could actually buy a Robinson R22 for that kind of price. Yeah, I mean, I'm not an idiot, I guess you could say.
True. Because that guy was also like, hey, can I use the PlayStation remote to get us deeper?
And even, to show you how even dumb he was, it wasn't even a PlayStation remote. It was a remote that he found on Amazon for $30. A Logitech.
I guess he's just like me, and he likes a good deal.
Probably. But, I mean...
He was probably like, wait, do I get the free shipping, though?
And he convinced them so much that a guy had even said, well, let me bring my son on there with me.
And was probably like, those hoses, did you spray paint those?
Or he's probably going, hey, this metal seems a little funny. Seems a little light and thin.
Metal?
Yeah, right? Come to find out, carbon fiber, which is not almost as sturdy as your aluminum soda can. So if you guys haven't caught on yet over our sneaky language, we are definitely talking about the OceanGate Titanic submersible.
And the only reason we're talking about this is because it made headline news for like several days. And I'm not going to lie, I got sucked in when I first heard it, because they were saying, oh, these people have like 4 days of oxygen left. And so you were kind of rooting for them to get rescued.
Yeah. I mean, they made a whole dramatic story, but I didn't really follow it as much. Oh, I didn't follow it by choice. Guys at work were coming up to me.
They held a gun to your head and they were like, watch this video.
Yeah. Basically. Or we'll implode your head. Yeah. The thing I loved about it the most were the memes and the videos. I mean, like, going back to that dark sense of humor that you get when working nights, it really showed during this, just how stupid it is. Let me put it this way: the Finding Nemo ride at Disneyland, that submarine was built better than this Ocean Gate submersible. The Titan, I think is what it was called, something like that. And with a name like the Titan, why would it be made out of carbon fiber? If I'm hearing something that's called the Titan, I'm expecting it to be like the densest of metal, like titanium, something that's gonna, take me down to the core of the earth. But
this, it's crazy to me. I just thought of this submersible.
Yeah.
Is gonna be like ingrained in history.
Oh yeah.
And like culture.
Yeah.
Because of the memes.
Oh yeah.
I still remember you posting all those memes on Instagram stories. They were hilarious. One of my favorites was
they were talking about the Titanic, and the wreckage of the Titanic, and just the iceberg, and just the whole thing, kind of everybody down the tragic events and everything. And the headline said, or the picture showed, Titanic, total deaths. It was like 1,774 ... and counting.
Oh man.
And then I saw another video where it was like it showed the video. Do you remember that? Do you remember seeing that video on TikTok of that dude going, "Open the door, open the door"? It was like an old man, like a red hat. No, it was caught on a Ring camera. I don't know the story behind it, but the thing is, like, he just kind of like hunched over, like you can tell there might be like something not all there with him, but he was just going, "Open the door, open the door, open the door," and they put that. And they cropped that out, and they put him outside of the submersible.
Oh, no.
Saying the ghost of the Titanic be like, "Open the door." So like I said, they're getting creative. I mean, it's
dude. How much did they pay for these tickets?
$250,000 a person.
Oh yeah, $250,000, right?
Yeah. So that one guy,
dude. If I was on that submarine,
that was $500,000 he spent, and then to top it off, his son wasn't the original one that was supposed to go with him. It was supposed to be him and his wife. But his wife backed out because he was like, "No, you know what? He really wants to go."
The wife was like, "I don't know."
Probably, yeah. Carbon fiber, Logitech. I've heard of them. Amazon. What was that? Amazon, $30? No, let me know when they get an Xbox controller.
I don't know about that screen door on that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, the more and more that they uncover about it, the more it's like you just sit there and think, why would you even think about doing that? I get the appeal. You want to go down and see a piece of history, because they are saying that the Titanic is actually eroding away. Oh. They say in the next 50 or 60 years, maybe even longer, it's not going to be there anymore, and it's just from the ocean currents dragging it around. The sea life, the coral, all that kind of stuff, the rust, all that stuff, just kind of eroding it away. So it's saying that at some point it's not going to be there anymore. So I mean, I get the appeal of going down to see it, but
I think it's more about the idea of you want to be the only one to have gone down and say that you were one.
But that's the thing, is that they aren't the only one. There have been many people that have gone down to do it, but they've done it the right way, meaning they've either, like James Cameron, he's himself has gone down and seen the Titanic when he was filming the movie Titanic. The whole opening credits of that ROV going down and filming the Titanic was actually the real footage of James Cameron in that submersible, a 2-man submersible going down to the bottom that was built. They said something like it spent like almost $25 million building it, because they knew of the pressure of the depths, and they needed to make sure that this was going to work, and so they put the money into it. Whereas you get a guy that spent $5 million
making a Pringles can.
Yeah, that's what it ended up being. I mean, it's just stupid.
Just imploded.
Yeah, again, it's rich people seeing a deal like you did and going for it. But
was that a backhanded compliment?
Yeah, kind of. And, but yeah, I mean, it was just, like I said, the memes were just outstanding. Everybody at work was just so distraught over it. And I was asking, why? Why are you distraught? It has nothing. It has no effect on us.
I feel bamboozled.
I knew exactly what would happen. So I didn't know.
They're saying the Navy knew from day one.
Yeah.
That it had imploded.
There is footage. Yeah.
Wanted us to follow this story.
Well, so
like a glimmer of hope. Oh, maybe we'll find them.
So
they were dead.
Yeah. So if I remember correctly, from the few people that I talked to that were in the Coast Guard, when it comes to a rescue like that, that's within certain limits of the U.S. coast, it is not the Navy that's in charge of that. It is the Coast Guard. So they were the ones that were in charge. Well, the Coast Guard, they didn't have the equipment that the Navy had, because the Coast Guard, oddly enough, they are basically designed to rescue on the surface of the water.
Right.
You know, so when you go underwater, I don't think they have subs. I don't think they have submersibles and such.
I don't think so either. But my point was just the Navy heard something on their radar.
Yeah, and
that sounded like an implosion.
And have you heard that footage? Because they released it.
No,
they released it, and you hear. So there's two sounds. There's one sound that's like a bang. Mm-hmm. Like a kind of like a lighter bang. They think that might have been the first crack in the hull. So they think what they're theorizing is that crack in the hull started pouring water in. They had no idea, so they were pouring water. But no more than 3 seconds later, you hear this loud echoing crum,
like a big crunch,
and they think that was when it just imploded.
It must have been.
But the good thing, if you really feel bad for them, they felt no pain.
That's good.
From physicists' standpoints, from trained morticians to doctors. I mean, everybody and anybody. They basically said that it was like just turning out a light switch. There was so much pressure in there that when they just got hit with it, all of a sudden, they were just instant death. They went from the crazy thing, and they went from being solid humans to liquid.
Dang!
In less than a blink of an eye. So
crazy.
Yeah. So them saying, "Oh yeah, we found human remains." They may have found a blood-soaked T-shirt, but there's no human remains.
That's intense.
Yeah. All the bones, everything turned into liquefy. Either at this point, it would have either been everything would have been liquefied, jellified, maybe. Any kind of hardened bone or meat or any kind of tissue like that would have been eaten by any kind of crustacean. Because like shrimp, bottom feeders basically. Any kind of bottom feeder would have eaten it up. Immediately.
Sebastian probably got to it.
Basically, yeah. So them saying, "Oh yeah, when we pulled up the wreck, we found remains." No, you may have found like a little blood smear. You may have found a bloody hat, bloody shoe, something like that. But you're not going to find a skeleton. You're not going to find bones. You're not going to find any of that. I mean, that's just the media trying to say, "Hey, listen, look. There's still more to the story."
Oh yeah, they want to capture attention.
Yeah, but there's not. They're gone. They're done.
So,
they're fish food.
Well, the moral of the story.
Don't be rich.
That, and also don't be
simple.
Simple where?
Simple in the mind.
Simple in the mind. So you thinking what I'm thinking?
We almost wrap this up, or wait? You mean we try to take over the world?
I mean, with your helicopter know-how and my delivery, delivering the mail.
I know one way that we can try to take over the world.
You do?
And that is with Simple-Minded Tweets with Andrew.
Yeah. Man, it's been so long. 7 years since our last Simple-Minded Tweets.
Which is why we are going even longer than we usually do.
I know, this is intense. But
yeah, I
think it's well-deserved,
Especially since we don't really know when we're going to be putting out another one.
I mean, we'll probably have more time now. Like I said, I'm a regular mail carrier. Got my days off, so who knows? And
if we see each other more, we won't be blabbering on like this as much,
Yeah, that's true.
It should be sweeter, like how we did in the earlier episodes.
Oh yeah. This is just a one-off.
Yeah,
we'll get better at this.
Yeah.
Well, yes, it's been 7 years, and here we are, simple-minded tweets again. A lot of tweets from 2016 to 2023.
You got 7 years worth of tweets.
Yeah.
That's millions and millions.
Now, I could have found endless supply of simple-minded tweets, but
yes,
I'm only going to read off, I found a good 6, so
okay.
Here we go.
And if I may, I will add one at the end that I found.
Sounds good to me.
Just to kind of, throw mine a little in.
Well, you're lucky. It's been 7 years. So
that's true.
All right, ready?
Sure. Let's hit it.
This one comes from Debbie Montana. Debbie Montana.
Okay.
She tweets. Sorry, it's been a long time. It's been a while. She tweets, everyone wants to be a business. Read that for me, Marcelo. Right there.
Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur.
ONTRIPANOR. Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur. And then right after that, in it. Right there. In it. In it.
In it?
I think like ain't it?
Okay, could be.
But it's spelled in it. Everyone wants to be a business entrepreneur in it. See, the thing is, you have a smart device that can spell check for you, predictive text, all that. All you have to do is press entrepreneur.
So that means, one of two things happened. Either she has spelt that wrong so many times that the phone thought, to hell with it, give it to her. We've done all we could. Or she looked at it, the spell check came up, showed her how to correctly spell entrepreneur, and she thought, no, that don't look right. I'm going to go with mine. And then just clicked on hers anyways and said, nah, fuck it. My smartphone ain't going to outsmart me.
That's a good point. Because in her defense, the word entrepreneur,
yeah,
I couldn't even spell it to save my life in a spelling bee.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I know there's an E in there and a U.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I know.
And phonetically, she did spell it out, but entrepreneur,
Entrepreneur.
Yeah. I mean,
does it take that long to Google entrepreneur? Anyway, moving on to the next one.
All right.
This one comes from Chanel Cross. She put 2 crosses in between her name.
Okay.
Maybe she likes crosses.
Could be.
She tweets,
or she's part of some cult.
True dat.
Yeah, right.
True dat. Chanel Cross tweets, what's Obama's last name? I'm not even kidding. And looking at this screenshot, it was retweeted 13 times. And 3 people marked it as their favorite.
You'll be surprised how many people actually thought that Obama was his first name. I think Jimmy Kimmel did something like, like when he does like that that segment. I think Conan used to do it too, or all the late night guys do it, where they like go out in like the streets and they ask random strangers basic questions. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the questions was, what's Obama's last name? And everybody just had no idea. They're like, I didn't even realize he had a last name. They just kept calling him Obama, and they thought that he was like Cher. Like, there's no last name,
He was the last nameless president.
Yeah, the only one. Yeah. So
crazy stuff.
Yeah,
man.
But still no excuse to be that's fucking stupid.
Hey, simple-minded tweets. It's simple-minded. All right, next one. Oh, this is a good one. You ready?
All right.
This person tweets, so hot in the office, one of the secretaries thought she was... Read the last 2 words.
She was metal pausing.
Metal pausing. Is that like when you're making sheet metal and then you just pause it?
Could be.
But if that's what it is, then why is everyone getting so hot in this office?
Well, I mean, you do have to heat metal up pretty hot. sometimes.
Metapausing.
Metapausing. The simple-minded version of menopausal.
Moving on. All right. Like this one. This person tweets, and I don't have it doesn't say who it's from, but it says, this restaurant got a real nice Beyonce. Or however you spell it. Look at that.
They actually...
So
in parentheses, so they knew grammar to put it in parentheses,
right?
But Beyonce.
Beyonce. Of course, they were trying to spell ambiance, but it came out Beyonce, Beyonce, ambiance, aunts, once. Okay, that's enough of that one.
All right,
moving on. Is this my last one? No, I got two more.
Okay.
You're still
all right. Yeah,
I'm
good. I'm good.
All right. This one comes to us from a tweeter named, can't make this up.
Okay.
Her name is Radio Ho.
All righty. Sounds like we might need to bring her on the podcast. She might be a hoe for the radio.
Is that a good thing?
She may just like radio that much.
That's a little too much loving on the radios. So, Radio Ho tweets.
She got a different kind of boom box.
Yeah. She tweets, my HIV results came back positive. I'm clean.
She a hoe. She a hoe for sure. Or how do they say? She for the streets.
Oh, man. Marcel, you've always had the street smarts.
Yeah.
I just stick with the book smarts.
Yeah, that's definitely she's she a hoe. She a hoe.
All right, ready for the last one?
Give it to me.
This one comes from Randolph Lowry. His Twitter handle is Blue Awesomeness.
Okay.
He tweets, so the refs screw up another game. That's a damn shame. Hey, that rhythms. LOL. No, seriously, look at that.
Rhythms?
Read it.
Hey, that rhythms. Yeah, that rhythms.
That rhythms. That rhythms.
I guess that Blue Awesome isn't awesome at spelling.
I mean, all right, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Rhymes, like the word rhymes. He was obviously trying to spell the word rhymes. That's a weird word to spell because there's like an H in there, and where does the Y go? Is it before the H, after the H? I get it, but you got to know the word rhythms when you see it.
Yeah. Again, one or two things had to have happened. Either he spelled it wrong so many times that his phone gave up on him, or actually technically, depending on what phone he used, it could have been, if it was an Android, Google gave up on him, or if it's an iPhone, Apple gave up on trying to help him, and they just let him spell it. Or he, again, was like, no, that spelling doesn't look right. I'm going to use my spelling anyways. So, I mean, that's the only two ways I can come up with.
Yeah, I think he was just a poet.
Yeah, that could be too.
And he didn't even know it.
So, the tweet that I have.
Oh yeah, you wanted to share your tweet.
Yeah, just got the one real quick. It's not. I wouldn't say it's simple-minded. Mm-hmm. It's just going back to how we talked about aging and how this new generation has no idea what MySpace is.
Oh, the Generation Z generation.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Zoomers.
Well, check this one out.
I'm
okay.
checking.
So I don't know who originally tweeted it because they blurred out the name.
Yeah.
But it says I've been thinking a lot about in real life podcasts. You bring a few friends together, no mics, so nothing can be recorded. You have a free-form discussion, and you can even bring food and drinks. Has anyone tried this? And somebody, I can't even pronounce it. Looks like it's just a bunch of random. It's ANSHNAN, and then it cuts out for the last name. So, Anch, I guess would be his last name. Said, boy, this tech bro just discovered hanging out with your friends. Something that we've been doing since literally the caveman days.
I know.
Thinks that he did something.
You know, that tells a lot about this generation after us, this young generation. They're in just submersed.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I did there?
Aha.
They're submersed in technology that they think everything has to be technologically based or social media based. Like, no, you could just hang out with your buds and talk.
I guess the thought of that kind of reality just implodes their mind.
It implodes their mind. They're like, we could be making millions talking, but recording it. But
they do it for free, and they don't like it.
I know.
They do it so much. But you know what? It is kind of getting to be like a sad thing where you can't really go into like a big area without someone with a camera.
Oh, I've
like,
seen it.
Like there's a whole like kind of I won't say ongoing joke, but like just an ongoing annoyance, I guess you could say, of going to a gym now and seeing someone walking around with a tripod because they have to document every part of their workout so they could put it up on their social media. I saw a video not that long ago. In fact, I think it might have been just this past weekend of these guys that are legitimately working out. They're working out, I think, in a boxing ring. Or the gym had a boxing ring in the middle, and they're trying to spar and kind of work out and stuff. And then a girl, a fitness influencer, walks into the middle of the ring, takes her corner, but has guys follow her in with not only a tripod but those studio lights, like those big umbrella-looking studio lights, and literally half of it just all lit up in that perfect. And there she's taking pictures, and she has the balls to ask them, "Oh, you guys be okay with me being over here, right? This is okay." Meanwhile, they're bumping into she has like a crew of 4 guys that aren't guys that work out, that everybody else is bumping into because they're taking up so much space just because she has to document everything. I mean, I get it. Fitness influencers are a thing. You can be inspired by them, but at what point does it just become an annoyance when it seems like every other page is some type of influencer for something? I mean, not that we're trying to influence anybody,
no,
but it's just, I just don't get it. I mean, I just don't get where that came from.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm getting tired of the whole influencer thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the term entertainer.
Yeah,
I'm
that
not
was
trying to
great.
influence you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But, yeah.
I mean, I think it's going to get worse. Or a smarter generation's going to crop up and be like, you know what? I see the ridiculousness of these people that are just so self-absorbed and narcissistic, thinking that everybody wants to see every move they make.
Yep.
And that they'll take a stand and say, no, I'm just going to go to the park and eat my tea and crumpets. And
there are people that do the influencer that do it really well to where they don't, like the one guy that I follow, and he's a comedian, Bert Kreischer. Mm-hmm. He jokes about how his whole life is on social media. Like he wakes up and he tweets and he Instagram lives and he does all that, but he does it in such a way that you don't feel like, oh my God, again. I mean, I'm sure there probably is, people that feel that way, but it's like entertaining. Like he doesn't walk around and have like the big camera crew follow him around. He's bumping into people or like, shunning people off. Like, oh no, this is my spotlight, get away. It's like if he's going down doing Instagram live with his family and somebody says, "Hey, machine," because that's his nickname, he'll go, "Hey," and he'll come over, shake their hand, take a picture, and then they're off. So like he does it really well. But then there's some of those influencers that are just like, if you get anywhere near their equipment, they think that you're just throwing the whole thing off, throwing the whole whim off. They're just, I don't know. It's just, if you ask me, influencers are just jokes.
It's a depressing thought. And I thought about this the other day, and after this we'll segue into a more funny
thought. I had a great segue right there, but I didn't realize you had more. But my bad.
Last thing, because it just came to me. There are kids that have grown up with their parents, making their kids like little kid shows for other kids. Mm-hmm. And that's all they know.
Yeah.
So they think that's reality, is being filmed and put on YouTube or
Yeah,
something.
like that one kid where I think he was. They said he was like one of the youngest millionaires on YouTube, and all he did was open up toys.
Oh yeah, Ryan.
Is that what his name? I don't even know who he is.
It might be Ryan.
I don't know.
Because he had a show called Ryan's Toy Reviews, and then he got a deal with Nickelodeon.
Oh really?
Ryan's World, and now he has toys and all kinds of stuff.
I mean,
I get it.
in a way I can, it's like the ones that can't get the toys, they at least want to at least see them. They want to at least, somewhat be familiar with them. But does it really take $1 million to pay him to do this? I mean, a 4-year, what didn't he start when he was like 4 or 5 opening them up? The money's not going to him. It's going to the parents.
I mean, they could have a college fund for him.
But still, you think that they're putting every single penny into that college fund? They're not.
No. They're putting into their Bugattis.
Exactly. At least like when somebody has like a cat or a pet that are like, quote unquote influencers or whatever, I could see that because it's cute. It's funny. It takes you out of reality. It makes you kind of look at it and go, that's cute.
Is this the new child labor?
Could be. It probably could be.
I think we're onto something.
Hey, you never know.
Anyway.
You got 3 of them. You can make a lot of money.
But I don't want to sell out my kids. Anyway, that's enough depressing stuff.
Yeah.
I think we need something a little more lighthearted.
Going back to what I was saying, I think that these influencers are just total jokes.
Yeah, I will agree with you. Those influencers are total jerks. Did I say jerks?
Yeah, you did. You kind of wanted to say jokes, but you were like a jerks.
For the record, it's 1:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
Independence Day, mind you.
Yes.
Hey, no taxation without representation.
Mm. Aren't you in a job that requires taxes in order to get paid?
Not at all.
Oh no, I thought it was.
Quick fact: taxes do not pay postal worker salary.
Oh, not postal?
Our services do. Packages,
okay.
Mail.
Right. Okay.
And it's funny because sometimes I run into customers and they're like, "Why is my mail late? I pay taxes."
Oh, okay.
And we're like, "Yeah, but they don't pay me."
I wonder if at one time they were.
I think I don't know it too well, but somehow Congress or government uses the postal service's funds as like a
because you are considered a government worker, right?
A government agent.
Yeah.
I'm part of the feds.
Yeah, right.
I'm above the law. Yeah, bruh.
That's why your cars have the steering wheel on the other side.
So no one could steal them.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I think other government agencies borrow from the post office.
Okay.
And then they have to pay it back, but then they don't, and then they bail us out. And
okay. Well,
it's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know all the details, but it's some weird stuff with money.
All right.
That flows back and forth. So that's why some people say, "Oh yeah, I pay my taxes." Yeah,
those people are such jokes.
Yeah, those people are such jokes. All right, and it's time for the best, most thrilling segment of the Simple Times podcast, the longest running, mind you,
the only one that we have had
since the beginning
in every episode. Even our 2-parters, we would have one at the end of every part.
And this is just a staple.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's what Simple Times is all about.
I don't mean to take credit, but I mean,
jokes. From the beginning of time.
Mm-hmm.
Since the dawn of creation.
Mm-hmm.
There was always a joke. Now, we give you Jokes with Hefe.
All right. It's funny when you said from the beginning of time for those jokes, because you remember that Family Guy episode when they try to go and find the very first joke ever created, and like they went through like this whole secret organization, like they were like meeting people in shadows, and then they finally go down to like this compound, and they show them like the first joke ever created, and it was like, "Help, my baby's drowning," and he goes, "LOL," and like that was like the joke or something, but it was like in hieroglyphics or something like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So yeah, whenever somebody tells me like, "Oh yeah, what's the history of a joke?" I always think of that episode of of Family Guy. So this joke, heard a while back. Librarian's working at a library,
Okay.
putting books away and everything, and a chicken walks in.
Wow.
And walks up and goes up to the counter and goes buck buck buck. So the librarian thinks about it and goes, "Oh, okay. He wants books. He wants 3 books." He gives him 3 books. Chicken walks out with them. Next day, chicken comes walking in, puts the books down. Buck buck buck. Librarian thinks, "Wow, chicken reads pretty fast. Read 3 books in a day. Okay."
Yeah, I'll say.
Takes those 3 books, gives them 3 more new ones. Chicken walks out with them. Next day, chicken walks back in. Same chicken. Walks in with the same 3 books. Sets them down. Buck, buck, buck. So the librarian thinks, wow. All right, something's going on. I got to find out how this chicken's reading these books so fast.
Yeah.
So it takes the 3 books, gives them 3 new ones. But as the chicken goes walking out, the librarian sneakily follows it. Follows it down to a pond. At the edge of that pond, the chicken walks up to a frog. Sets the books down in front of the frog. The frog looks at him and goes, "Read it, read it, read it."
Okay. That was good. I love those jokes where you're like anticipating the punchline. And this one,
You just never see it coming?
I was like, okay, now we got another animal. And then, yeah, that was good. That was good.
Now, do you think, for us being the first time in 7 years, that it is good enough to repair all of those broken hearts for people that had to wait 7 years to hear another joke with Hefe? Or should I find and do one more?
Well, I mean, we're coming up on nearly 2 hours, so hey, why stop here? It has been 7 years. Let's give us another one. I said, give us another one.
And I'm looking. I'm trying to find the perfect one. The one that I know would be just the right one.
The right one.
You got to let the right one in. That was a movie, by the way. That was a good movie.
Let the right one in?
The original was called Let the Right One In, and then the remake was called Let Me In. It was a vampire movie, actually.
Ooh.
It was a pretty good one. All right, I will let you choose. Do you want to hear...
Ooh, choose your own adventure.
Yeah. Do you want to hear the joke of the blonde brunette and the redhead on death row? Or do you want to hear the one about the detective testing out 3 trainees?
Oh, man, this is a tough call. Let's do the blonde, the brunette, and the redhead. Those are classic jokes.
Okay.
I haven't heard one of those in a long time, so that sounds appealing.
A blonde, a brunette, and a redhead are sentenced to death. They are lined up in the yard to be killed. The main guard went up to the brunette. "You have a choice on how you would like to die. By electric chair, firing squad, or hanging. Which will it be?" The brunette replied, "I'll take the electric chair." She was led away by the 2 other guards to the electric chair. She was strapped in and the executioner flipped the switch. The brunette flinched before noticing that nothing happened, not even a spark. "Nothing happened," cried the brunette. "What? That's impossible. How?" yelled the executioner. "I don't know. But maybe it's a sign," the brunette said. "A sign from above. This must be divine intervention. Release her," said the executioner. The guards followed the executioner's orders and unstrapped the brunette, leading her back out. She passed the redhead, and as she walked back, she leans towards the redhead. "The chair's not working," she whispered. The redhead nodded, and she watched as the brunette was led away. The main guard approached the redhead. "I present to you the same 3 choices. Which will it be?" The redhead replied, "I'll do the electric chair." She was led away by the 2 other guards to the electric chair. Like the brunette before her, she was strapped in and the executioner flipped the switch. The redhead flinched, but again, nothing happened, not even a spark. "It didn't do anything," cried the redhead. "Again? That's impossible," yelled the executioner. "Who knows? It could be a sign," the redhead replied. "Another sign? Divine intervention again? Release her," said the executioner. The guards followed the executioner's orders again and unstrapped the redhead, leading her back out. She passed the blonde, and as she walked back, she leans towards the blonde and whispers, "The chair's not working." The blonde nodded as she watched as the redhead was led away. The main guard approached the blonde. "I present to you the same choice. Which will it be?" The blonde replied, "Well, since the chair's broken, I guess I'll do the firing squad."
Oh, that was funny.
But 7 years
7 years.
till this episode.
And yes, it was a long one.
Yeah.
But for those of you who held out to the end, congratulations.
Yeah, it's not going to be our longest.
It's not going to be our longest?
It's not going to be our longest. Because our longest was the Christmas special, and that was like an hour and 58 minutes.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was almost
Are you
2 hours.
serious?
Yeah, I really am.
That's insane.
Yeah, so we're approaching an hour and 50. But yeah, it's not going to be our longest.
That's insane.
So
Well, I think this was a good one.
I think so too.
I'm proud of the work we've done.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So,
well, that wraps up episode 17.
The return, the second coming
The second coming.
of the Simple Times podcast.
And happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July to you.
Independence Day. Maybe we'll get attacked by some aliens.
Who knows?
Maybe Will Smith will save us all if he's not busy slapping Chris Rock.
That's true. Or getting cucked by his wife.
Signing off.